Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. One of the biggest things we hear from parents is whole anxiety around English grammar. Like, when should my kids start learning it? Is it, holding them back if they're not drilling those verb tenses early on?
Yeah, I see this all the time. And it's tough, right? Parents want what's best for their kids, but there's so much pressure out there.
Totally. So today we're going to break that down, see where this anxiety comes from, and maybe discover a fresh perspective on how kids learn English. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. Let's unpack this.
All right, so the source points to two big reasons why, especially moms, feel so stressed about English grammar.
Right. And the first one is, well, it's kind of unavoidable. Peer pressure. The whole everyone else's kid is at an academy. So you start feeling like you're falling behind if yours isn't.
Yeah, that comparison game is tough to escape.
It really is. And then layered on top of that, you have this deeply ingrained belief that grammar is the key to everything. Like you need the rules to speak and write correctly.
Makes sense, at least on the surface. But what if there's a different way to look at this?
Well, that's exactly what Nangdok School gets at. They suggest 5 key shifts in thinking that I think could be pretty eye-opening.
Okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me.
So number 1, they're all about timing. Instead of forcing grammar early on, they say, focus on helping your kid have a really smooth, positive start with English. They even use this image going lol, which, basically means let's not shoot a slingshot at their English wings.
Okay, I love that. Don't kill their enthusiasm before it even gets going.
Exactly. And then point number 2 builds on this, right? They're big on building a strong foundation first. Focus on reading comprehension, literacy, those core skills, and the text actually says.
So if they build that solid base, the grammar stuff will kind of fall into place.
Precisely. And they even suggest that learning grammar can actually be fun, engaging, if you approach it the right way, like there's a story to it all, a logic that unfolds as you learn more.
I've never thought of it that way. That's really interesting.
Right. And their third point really goes hand in hand with this. They're all about using relevant examples, real-world stuff that kids can connect with.
Oh, you have to. Ditch the textbook sentences that no one actually uses.
Oh, for sure. Make it practical. And I guess this ties back to reading, right? Like the more you read, the more you just kind of absorb how the language works. Exactly, the text says, which that image of grammar just kind of seeping in through reading aloud. I think that's really powerful.
It is. It's like osmosis or something.
Totally. And then, there's the whole issue of kids feeling left out if they're not in those after-school maze, right? So you may give some advice on that. Like, how do you talk to your kid about this different approach?
Yeah, because that can be a tough conversation.
Definitely. They say, frame it as a choice. You're choosing not to go to an academy right now because right now it's more about building that deep understanding through books, through immersing themselves in English content.
So you're empowering them, right? You're saying this is a conscious decision we're making together. It's not about missing out.
Exactly. And the text goes on to say that, like once they have that strong foundation, grammar becomes this joyful confirmation of what they already intuitively know.
That's a cool way to put it. It's not this chore. It's more like, hey, I already get this.
Right? And they even suggest focusing on grammar in shorter, more intense bursts later on.
So you can nail the grammar stuff relatively quickly. But building that deep comprehension that takes consistent time and exposure.
Makes a lot of sense. But, the source also points out that it's not always one size fits all. Like for middle schoolers who haven't had much English exposure, starting with grammar might actually be a good confidence booster. It says go. Absolutely. It's about being flexible and finding what works best for each child. And, I think the most important thing is that they ends with this really supportive message for parents. They say, you come, we're in this together, let's figure it out. We can hold hands and run together, so to speak.
I love that. It's not about doing it all perfectly. It's about finding the right path and having support along the way. So I guess the key takeaway here is maybe we need to shift our thinking. Instead of stressing about early grammar drills, Maybe we should be focusing on creating this rich, enjoyable experience with English for our kids, letting them explore the language through reading, through content, through just having fun with it.
Exactly. And then down the line, that grammar piece can become a natural, almost like a celebratory part of the learning process.
I like that. Celebrate those grammar rules. So this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive, and I hope it's giving you parents out there some food for thought. In our quest to check those boxes to see tangible progress with grammar rules, are we maybe missing out on something bigger? Could it be that trusting the natural process of language acquisition a bit more, even if it feels slower or less measurable at first, might actually lead to a deeper, more lasting love and understanding of English?
It's something worth considering for sure. And, at the end of the day, we all want our kids to not just know English, but to truly enjoy it and thrive in it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.